Hello, my name is Dean Contover. This is The Current Buzz. Thank you for watching. Today I have a gentleman named Warren Shaw. He's a very busy person. Right now he's the president of the Massachusetts Farm Bureau. And thank you for being on the show. Not only that, he owns a farm, Shaw Farms in Dracut.
That's it. That's right.
He has a show on every Saturday on WCAP radio out of Lowell, Massachusetts, 9:80 a.m. Is that correct?
980 WCAP.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about farms. He's only been a president of the Mass Farm Bureau for, what, 3 months now?
Since December 1st.
Yeah. You don't realize how important it is in regards to farming in this country. The Midwest is a farm basket for this country. They feed us. If you didn't have farmers, you wouldn't have items in the supermarket.
No question.
No question, yeah.
Yep.
And it's very important. We were just talking about Ukraine in regards to Ukraine and Russia being the breadbasket for one third of the.
Well, the Ukraine and Russia are only going to plant a third of the crops they normally do.
Oh, I see.
This
A
year.
third only.
So going forward, that's why I said to you, this is going to last a long time.
Yeah.
The effects of the Russia-Ukraine.
Yeah, because I mean they supply wheat to the
Yeah.
Northern Africa, Egypt, the Middle East, and those countries subsidize wheat, and wheat is very important in regards to making bread. I mean that's the basics in some of these countries.
Well, compounding it, fertilizer comes from there too.
I was going to ask you that question.
That's how everything grows, right?
Oh, fertilizer comes from there? So,
Some of it, not all of it,
Okay.
but some of it. So whenever, if you lose 10% or 15% of the world fertilizer market, you know what 15% does on the supply side of a market, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
It will make everything more expensive.
That's one of the questions I had to ask you in regards to fertilizer. The prices are going to go up.
Right. Yep. The answer is yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. No, there's predictions anywhere from 30 to 50% now.
Fertilizer for your farm.
Well,
your
for all farms that use fertilizer.
All right.
And so yes, it's going to be a challenge, no question about it.
Yeah. So don't stock up. Just buy
Right.
regularly, but
Don't hoard fertilizer.
yeah, don't want fertilizer. Yeah, because we have to plant it for
Right.
we have. You have how many cows now?
So there's 90 cows in our dairy herd.
Okay.
And we have a beef herd.
Oh.
We raise beef as well.
Do you sell beef? From
We do
your farm?
in our farm store and in our home delivery routes. We sell.
Okay.
You know,
There is a store in
ground beef,
Dracut.
yep.
If you don't know how to, if you know how to get there, just Google Warren Shaw
Farm.
Shaw
Yeah,
Farm.
Shaw Farm. So-
They have ice cream there. The best vanilla ice cream I've had in anywhere in the world.
75 years.
Not that long. Not that long. But I'm not a chocolate person. I'm a vanilla person.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
everybody has their particular ice cream. So tell me what the Mass Farm Bureau does. I know you've only been in 3 months, but explain to me.
Well, I've been involved in it for longer than that.
I see, okay.
So just to give you the structure, so Mass Farm Bureau is a lobbying organization for
Okay.
Massachusetts farms.
Okay.
So that means legislative liaison. I tell people this all the time as I've been going around giving presentations to people I hope to get join our organization. If you own a farm, if you have problems with local government, which happens, we got your back. If you own a farm and there's a piece of legislation filed that could take away your livelihood, which happens frequently, we got your back. And on the national level, there is a giant organization in Washington called American Farm Bureau.
That's been known for years.
Right, that pushes a legislative agenda for ag. Now, it's not always for the small ag in Massachusetts, but essentially they're trying to keep the food coming to us. So it's a great organization, and a lot of the issues we have are with local towns because there are a separate set of rules for agriculture, and not all of the local governments have a good handle on it. So they might be issuing an order out of, building department or something that could be very harmful to a farm. And so we have people in our office that are expert on all of these regulations and pieces of legislation that can go to bat for you. So that's what it is. I mean, it's
a lobbying group, more or less.
It is a lobby. It is a lobby. We employ a lobbyist. As a matter of fact, that's what I was doing yesterday. interviewing some candidates for the lobby position we have. We're not big, but we're 6,000 members.
Oh, wow, that many.
Right.
Well,
They're
how
not
many?
all farmers, right? So
Well, what are they, farmers and ranchers? Is that?
well, they're farmers. They are people who run support organizations. So we have a number of categories for membership, and about 3,500 of that number are actual working farms, and so that's a good number for you. And then the rest of them could be running businesses that sell to farms, and people that just want to support. We have an associate's position title that allows you to just join and be supportive. As part of that, though, we also have what they call member services. So we have an insurance company that gives discounts to all of our members.
So I could join as a
You can join.
associate?
I say, this is another thing I say to people all the time. If you own a farm, if you own a farm business, and you join Mass Farm Bureau, your membership dues, which is only $225 a year, will be compensated by the savings you get buying insurance from our guy. And we just did that when I got there, myself and the new executive director.
When you talking about insurance, are you talking about farm vehicles insurance? Or are you
Everything.
talking car insurance?
Car insurance, home
Truck?
insurance, business
Oh,
insurance,
okay.
all of it.
All right.
So there's a lot. Everybody's got to be insured if you're doing business, and so the company that we just did, we did a 3-year contract with, and they will give discounts to all of our members that do business with them. They're actually right over here in Westford.
No kidding.
A&B Insurance, yep, and they're sort of farm based, and
Maybe I should have them on my show.
it wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they bundle everything together.
Right. They'll take a look at your, so if you have an interest in having them do your insurance, you could just show them everything you have, and they give you a quote on what they could do for you.
So I was at a farm in Minnesota. I mean, those things are big.
Yes.
And and what surprised me is picking up hay.
Yeah.
The times they move it from the field to the truck, from the truck to the barn, from the barn to the truck to the cows. I mean, these guys, when they talk about farmers, I mean, they're
I used
burly.
to be that way too.
I mean, and those things are heavy. It's
Oh, yeah.
not.
Well, I mean, so everything changes, right? So as the industry moves forward, we're trying to automate, we're trying to make things easier. So all those square bales you might have seen out there in Minnesota, some people still do that around here, but we use those big round bales.
I've seen those too.
And those are picked up, by a piece of equipment.
Speaking of that, there's a white protective that goes over the
Right.
bale. What's the reason for that?
So in the case of a Shaw Farm,
Okay.
we put up 4, sometimes 5 crops a year.
Oh, no
of
kidding,
what
that many.
of grass forage, right? So and we don't dry it like hay. It's put up with a moisture content to it, and you have to wrap it so that it's sealed, so that the moisture doesn't get in there, so the oxygen doesn't get into where the moisture's at. It's analogous to, you know what a silo is, right?
Yeah.
So these are like miniature silos. You can't do that unless you wrap it. So we have to have a special piece of equipment that wraps these things after they've been put up in the field. So
When I was out in Minnesota, I was told the more silos you have, the richer you are as a farmer. I don't know if that's true.
I never liked silos, I'll be honest with you.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Well, I mean, so that's big ag out there. So
Yeah,
I grew up on a farm that had 2 wooden silos,
Right.
and by the time I came along, they were starting to lean over, because they do that. They're wood stave.
Yeah.
And so at some point I pulled them both down, and we started using what they call bunker silos, And so then I didn't like the looks of my barn, so I bought a silo, put it up, and haven't put anything in it yet. I mean, think of the high wire act you're going to do when you have to go up to the top of that thing and work on it. Not pleasant. So, yeah.
And plus, you have to put a little thing on the top in regards to lightning, right? I mean,
Yep.
to prevent lightning hit it because
Because it's a high point.
yeah, it's a high point, and and starting a hay fire is like,
It's not a good thing.
it's not a good thing.
No,
Yeah.
no.
And I was told that you have to be careful putting hay in the loft because fires could start because of combustion or.
So if you that's it, spontaneous combustion. So if you don't,
See,
if
I
you
follow,
put, if
I
you,
listen to people.
I know, if you're putting up dry hay, not
Yeah.
what I was telling you we do
Yeah.
that's rat.
Yeah.
Dry hay.
Dry hay.
If it isn't properly dried, and you stack it tight in a barn, that can create spontaneous combustion and the barn can burn down. So that's happened in the history of my town, probably even the history of Jumpson. So, man, lots of people had that problem.
Yeah, when I was out in Minnesota, also, you know how farmers have to stay on their farm. I mean, even if they're sick, they have to work the farm, right?
That's a bit extreme, but yeah.
Well, I mean, but they have trucks that come up and sell products
Yep.
on the farm.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know what tonnage or whatever, but they have trucks, and you go in the truck. Yeah, I need a shovel or
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yep.
yeah.
Companies that come in and sell you, whether it's supplies or tools or whatever. Yeah, we have those too.
Oh, do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Also, they had trucks that came in and sold semen from the cows. I mean,
We have that also.
oh, you do?
So we breed artificially. You don't want to have a bull.
Okay.
Those things, I mean, they can hurt you.
Okay.
And there are people, in this area that have been hurt by bulls.
Okay. When I said semen, you kind of smiled because you know what I'm talking about.
I
Right?
do. I mean, I've done artificial insemination myself.
Okay.
So we do all the breeding at Shaw Farm is done artificially, and it's because it's dangerous to have a bull around. Not to mention the fact that genetics is important, right? You're always trying to make each generation better.
Yeah.
So if there's just a bull, then they're all sisters. You know what I mean? We're not going to, or brothers.
Yeah.
We're not going to get improvement in the herd. So
What I found fascinating, they had a chart, right,
Yep.
or a book
Yep.
in regards to this bull breeds so much milk, and it's going to cost you $50 or $100 per semen versus 10 or 20 for in those days. I'm talking about when I was at the farm, and I was like, holy. They have a
no,
chart.
I mean, it's not my grandfather's world of agriculture anymore, right?
Okay,
so
yeah.
With what you're talking about, we have a couple of specialists that come on the farm. One of them will look at my entire herd and look at the weaknesses of the animals that are there and suggest semen from a bull that has a history of having daughters that improve that problem, right? So if it's,
Right.
they might have,
It's on a computer. It's on a spreadsheet.
right, they might have bad feet, weak legs, a poorly attached udder, which people are going to laugh at that one, but the old picture of the cow's udder that hangs down, that's
Yeah.
not a good thing. It's what they call poorly attached udder. So they would breed her to a bull that has a history of having daughters that have better attached udders. Right? So you're trying to improve each
So
successive generation.
You mean you want something with better udders? Is that what we?
Right. That improves, milk health, animal health, and
Right.
So everything you can do starts with genetics.
Right.
And they even have what they call sexed semen now, which means that you can control whether it's going to be a boy or a girl. But it just costs you more money to do that. So there's a lot of things going on in the dairy side of things that we have a nutritionist that comes in to evaluate all the feeds that we make on the farm. And then he will formulate a feeding program together with the grain repurchase that gives the animal what she needs to produce, say it's 80 or 90 pounds of milk, and help sustain that calf that's probably inside her. And so we use every resource that we can to do our job better. So it's a nutritionist, it's a genetics expert. We have, in terms of animal health, we have Tufts uses us as a classroom. So
No kidding.
They'll come onto the farm
Okay.
with one vet and a couple of students.
Yeah,
And
they have
they'll
a vet school down at Tufts.
Right.
Right?
Well, it's yeah, they do,
Yeah.
and there's a couple of locations. This
Yeah.
one's down in Connecticut.
Okay.
But they come up and they'll come every 3 weeks and they'll do what they call a herd check.
No
and
kidding.
That means they'll check the health of the animals. They'll check for pregnancies. They do that for us, and while they're up here, they also get Great Brook Farm over here in the Carlisle-Chelmsford line. So,
Do they buy any ice cream?
you know what they do?
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, they'll stop by and get.
No kidding.
You're not gonna get a truckload of it, but so it's a different.
Dynamics than it was,
It's all
or the
together
perception that we grew up with in the movies. It's different.
Well, even going back to my father's era, I mean, there's just, I mean, it's a whole different world. We've changed everything because we've had to keep up. Because with dairy, there's no margin in it, right? So if you're not doing it perfectly, you're out.
Wow.
It's that simple.
Okay, let's go. I was going to ask you a lot of questions, but let's go step by step. You have a calf. What happens to the calf?
So in our particular
Yeah,
case,
in your particular case.
cow has a female calf.
Okay,
We're gonna keep that calf on the farm until she's weaned,
okay,
until she's off her mother's milk.
right.
Then we're going to send her to Townsend, Massachusetts, where we have a guy that raises her. Right, so there's a whole bunch of our herd over in Townsend, Mass.
No kidding.
And he raises them until they're ready to be a milking cow, and then they come back to drake it. Right, so we have that component of it too. So the calves get raised, and they get raised with the help of that nutritionist and the veterinary services, and then they come onto the farm and they're productive dairy cows, and so the cow that had her is going to milk for, let's say she had a January 1st, she's going to milk for 3 months, and then we're going to be looking to get her pregnant again. So cows are what they call in a heat every 21 days. That's how often they can get pregnant.
I see.
We get them pregnant, and then they'll milk for some more months, say another 4 months.
I see.
And then we'll dry them off in preparation for them having a calf. So they get about 3 months off between the time they were last milked to the time they have.
So you have machines, right, that takes it from the udders of the cow.
Right.
It goes into a storage.
So when the cows are milked, in our particular case, and that's going to change someday, but they call them milking units. They're not really machines. They're kind of rubber, what they call inflations, and there's 4 of them. They're made to fit on a cow, and the effect on the cow is like she's thinking there's a calf feeding off her, because that's the feeling that she gets. So
I see.
The way that piece of equipment is designed to work is it simulates a calf feeding on the mother. So cow gets milked in about 6 minutes. One of our guys will milk that entire herd in about 2.5 hours. You do 6 cows at a time.
Oh, okay.
And the cows, I engineered the barn to what they call tail to tail, so a guy can just work back and forth like that. And so then the milk comes out of the cow and goes into a stainless steel pipeline that takes it into a refrigerated tank. And it immediately gets cooled down because that helps make it, a product without any bacteria.
Okay, so it's basically 98 degrees or whatever it is coming from the cow. Is that
It's 101. That's the body
101.
temperature.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Comes out at 101.
Yeah.
Heads right for the cooler.
Okay.
And cools right down. By the time they're done milking, usually the tank is shutting off. So by the time all of the cows are milked, that tank is down to say 38 degrees. So it's been cooled down, and it's.
And so, how do you transport it from a tank or whatever?
So we have 2 tanks. One of them, because we have an organic herd and we have a non-organic herd.
Oh, I see.
So we have 2 trailers that back up to the barn, and they have the tanks inside them, and they have a compressor out on the tongue of the trailer. And one at a time, they go over to our bottling plant, which is across the street. So one of the tractors hooks up to it and brings it over, backs it into what's called our raw room, which is where raw milk is handled in the bottling plant. I built this 12 years ago, complies with all of the current, what they call pasteurized milk ordinance regulations.
Right.
And then it goes in and becomes something. It becomes ice cream, it becomes whole milk, 2% fat-free chocolate, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of a little complicated, but I think we do it well and right.
Some people don't believe in pasteurized milk. I don't get that. What's happening there? I thought, I grew up with pasteurized milk. And there's a sort of...
It's actually a good thing to talk about, Dean, because there are some people out there that have been duped into thinking that raw milk is good for them.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean,
No.
if it's a well cared for product on the farm, it might be okay. But the reason pasteurization was put into effect is because it kills the bacteria.
Exactly.
You know, things like listeria, if they get into your system, you know, you and I as healthy individuals, we might just get a cramp in our stomach. But if somebody has an immune system that's not well, I mean, there've certainly been times when people have been, lost their lives over it. And there's a lot of really good and sound information. Don't get anything online if you're, just pasteurized milk.
Call you up.
Well, that's true. I mean, I've had people call me, Dean, from a gentleman called me about 4 years ago from the Chelsea senior housing, and he said, I got cancer, and I've been told that if I drink raw milk, it'll defeat the cancer.
Get out of here.
And I said, well, it might kill you. That's what it will defeat it, because you'll be gone. But I mean, it's crazy. It's just one of those things that just gets, catches on online, and people get crazy with it. But I mean, if you ask yourself, why would you not want to drink pasteurized milk? There's no reason. I mean, that's all. It does not hurt the quality of it. Mm-hmm. It does not. People talk about, well, it takes out the good enzymes. That's not true. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's just not true. It just you can't tell the difference in flavor between my milk and the raw and my milk after it's pasteurized.
No kidding.
Yep.
I wanted to ask you. You said you had an organic farm, organic products. And I want to ask you because I only have like 2.5 minutes to go. So
really,
yeah, I know. We talked when you're having a good time. Time flies. Tell me about organic. It's being certified now or something.
No, you can't just use that name. Organic means you have to go through a certification process.
By who?
There are these organic certifiers that are licensed by the federal government.
Okay.
The one that deals with me is called Bay State Organic Certifiers. They came out, they do surprise visits. They check on everything because they want to protect the image of organic milk, which they should. Mm-hmm. So in our product for that, because we have both products on the farm and 2 different herds of cows,
right.
They want to make sure that we're what we say we are. So they will come out on the farm and check things like you cannot use fertilizer on a crop that you're going to feed to an organic cow. You can't do that.
Oh, no kidding.
If an organic cow, and these are like the highlights, there's a lot of things, but if you have an organic cow that gets sick, she has an infection inside her, you cannot feed her, you cannot treat her with an antibiotic and continue to use her for food.
Oh.
You have to treat her because her life is threatened, but you can no longer use her for milk or beef or any of that. And there's just, everything you do about it, an organic cow has to have been born of a organic mother. All of their feed.
Is there some sort of stamp from the federal government that says organic?
I mean, if you look at a label that says organic, it should be stamped with the USDA organically certified. But they check everybody that is in that system is audited every year. We're audited every year there.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No.
So that's why I have you on to find out all these.
And you got nobody that's a dairy expert in Chelmsford.
I know, not anymore. It's just farming. We're almost through. Have you been approached in regards to raising cannabis on your farm?
No, but I think people know better. I wouldn't do it.
Okay.
But I'm not making judgments.
Yeah.
So it's usually not cannabis on a farm. It's cannabis grown inside.
Oh, okay.
Right. So there are farms that.
You put solar.
Hemp is different.
You put solar on your farm.
I do.
Farm.
Yep.
Okay.
I have a 2.5 acre solar array on my farm.
And you support solar.
I fully support solar. I could do a whole show with you on solar.
Okay. Next time.
All right,
I'll
we'll do
have
that.
you in.
Yeah, it helps sustain.